Okay, so let's take this object and bind it to the bones. I turned bones off for a second to actually be able to sculpt out the geometry. That's a hint. If you ever want to touch the polygon object, notice I can't grab the polygon object at all. And if I turn off bones, look at easy to grab. Bones on, impossible. Okay, so now that you know that, you're like, man, I wish you showed me that before I modeled it. So here we go. Animation, skin, bind skin, smooth bind, square box. Okay, and let's set this back to 5 and hit apply. Okay, now let's take one of these joints up here and rotate it. Okay, good, good. And you notice it didn't have any problems because there's a big, huge gap here. Okay. And again, these didn't have a problem because there's a huge gap there. Okay, nice. And these bend really nice because of the flexor that I put in here. So it's a kind of a, this one gets an absolute. Maya sees this and gives this an absolute and gives these like 50%. So it turns out really nice that way. Okay, so now that we don't live in a fantasy land, skin, go back to bind pose, take this, skin, detach skin. Let's take and move this joint quite a bit over. Let's move it right here. And let's move this joint over here real close. And it doesn't matter right now that they're not perfect. And it's not about being perfect on this. Okay. Take off the joints and go like this. And move that closer. Okay, so that's as close as I'm going to get it. This one, close as I'm going to get it. And let's adjust the bones back just a little bit so they're down the center of this mesh. Okay, so now that they're closer together, hopefully there's some problems here. Okay, so don't forget you've translated everything and you've moved everything. You haven't rotated anything on the bone, so there's no rotate information that you need to get rid of. But here you have history nodes. Delete by type, history. Okay, so take this, skin, smooth bind. Don't change anything. And hopefully we have some problems now. Oh, there it is. Good. It happens. Okay, so you can see by moving this, this is starting to move. And this is waiting. Okay, so this has influence over that. Okay, so let's try something else. Let's lower this down. Skin, detach skin. And let's go back to the smoothing bind options, which is right here. And let's say 3 here. And apply. Okay, and this time, let's see what happens. Same issues. Okay, so it's not, it's one of those things that no matter what, if you get an issue like this, if you get 2 sets of bones next to each other, no tweaking in the world is going to get rid of this. This is a binding issue, or a skinning issue that we're going to have to deal with in a different manner. And that's going to start a whole new lesson series on just, going in here and painting different weights and how to not paint them and how to put them in very accurately using graphs. So now that you have an understanding of just how to put a character together, get it bound and get the meshes around. Before you built a very basic biped. So this time I want you to build another little basic critter, and I want you to skin it and bind it to the bones. This time it does not have to be a biped. It could be like a little alien. It could have 3 toes, 2 toes. It doesn't really matter. It could have some kind of guitar pick for a head. Doesn't really matter. I just want to see you binding stuff to bones, and I want to be able to see that you're inserting the edge loops correctly. That is important. So wherever you see a joint or wherever you're deciding to bend the character, go ahead and put a flexor in that region for right now until we show you, or I show you other manners of getting around this. So this is a very basic character's arm, and that would give you an understanding on how much um, detail I want. I have absolutely no care for detail. I want to see bendability. All right, so that's your assignment. Build me a basic character with a little basic bone set.